Yes, everybody, Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. We've done another week. I hope you are well. If you're new around here, thanks for joining us. If you like what we do, give us a subscribe or a like, all that type of stuff. It is West Ham. It's Hammer's Club Call. Have your say. Do you remember Club Call? Do you remember the old Club Call? We used to do that. That's what we're bringing back. Hammer's Club Call. Have your say. Have your say. And so we'll be opening the lines up very, very shortly. But before we start, let's say happy birthday to West Ham legend, and he is a legend, Ken Brown. He's 95 today. No, he's not 95. So he's 90. Sorry, Ken. He's 90 today. An absolute bona fide West Ham legend. 470, 400. I think it was 400. Up at the tweet out. I can't remember what I said. He was Ham of the Year in 1959. I believe it was 13 seasons at the club he was playing, 474 appearances, and also the only man at West Ham to have won 3 cups. That is, when you talk about a legend, that is what a West Ham legend is all about. And happy birthday, many happy returns. 90 years old today, 90 years young, and obviously he'll be celebrating with obviously his son Kenny, who's obviously the academy director, and obviously still part of the West Ham family. So there's loads of happy birthday, Ken. Happy birthday, Ken. He'll be celebrating. I believe he lives in Norwich now. Loads of people in the chat already, which is great. As I said, you can come on, have your say. That's the idea today. Indeed, happy birthday, Linda. Hope you're well. Did anyone hear about the TNT? Oh, bad, isn't it? Oh, it's awful, isn't it? What else we got? Oil Savaloys. Everyone in the chat. Happy Hammers. Hi, peeps. What a week. What a week indeed. Morning, afternoon, everybody. Hope you're well. Lovely bloke. Yeah, and he's a lovely gentleman as well. A lovely gentleman, man. Fantastic stuff he is. Happy Friday and after Sunday. It's been a crap week. More rumours of unhappy managers. Well, it's all rumours, isn't it? Unfortunately, rumour has it. Ooh. We'll wait and see what happens. That's why I did a piece today about it, because actually it's people. With so many names, it's the assumption is he's gone, but he's still got a job, and I think people go, why has he still got a job, and why will he have a new job? Why will he have a new contract? So that's the idea. Today's like the video. It wasn't opinion. It was going through the business, and he's a safe pair of hands from a business perspective, rather than necessarily from an entertainment perspective. Mark, hope you're well. Indeed, lovely sunny afternoon in Hornchurch. It was 16 degrees yesterday. Afternoon, Pete. Young Russ, indeed. Hi, Russ. What will be left with to start? What will be left with to start the season? Well, we know whatever happens, he'll bring in a load of if he's still in charge in the next year and players do leave, then he's going to bring in sort of the likes of McTominay and stuff like that. It will probably do enough to keep us up. But that's not what we want, is it, as fan base, unfortunately? No, not yet. Would love to join, but back at work when we're soon, Russ. But thank God it's Friday indeed. If we survive the Prem and fearful for next season, we are surviving this Premier League season, Ludders. Come on. Best wishes to Woy, indeed. Woy, who's apparently already been sacked. So, don't get what's going on there. Indeed, only down the road, mate. Only down the road. Will Mick or Mike and Lucas start tomorrow, maybe on the bench, in your opinion? I don't think either will start. By all accounts, now, there was a report. I think Clarence Hughes said it could be 4 to 6 weeks now. And I read another article which said Moyes has got the West Ham website has said he's continued to assess both players, and it's basically saying it's up to Moyes when to play him or whatever. We've got the Dave Moyes press conference a bit later on. I imagine there'll be some questions that won't be answered, because it really does give the game plan away, really, doesn't it? Don't know how he didn't get sacked after Sunday, because it's one game, Matt, and that's the trouble. And it's, and I'm not justifying it, but I'm just saying that's why. Don't get the safe pair of hands thing as with these players. He should be. He should be. From an entertainment, we should be doing better. But go back and watch the video we spoke about this morning, and look at the breakdown for in terms of a business, in terms of the business, not the entertainment, the business, and that's what I was trying to get through. It's about maintaining Premier League stations, getting a decent Premier League spot, and as I said, it was. I think they budget for 11th. I think that's what Sean said. So, and that sort of takes, something like 60% of the income is from the actual TV rights. So that's what it's all about, really. Would the Bloke Palace wants to do a job for us? Would the Bloke Palace want do a job? Oliver Gleason, yeah, we know about him because he knocked us out of the Europa League semi-finals. Former Eintracht Frankfurt manager. Apparently, it's all been agreed. That's what Fabrizio Romano has been saying. Apparently, it's pressure from fans, got wore the boot, so it does work with some clubs. Possibly, Mark. I mean, he was coming to the end. I mean, they're in a little bit free fall. So they need it, I'd say, rather than win. I know we're free falling, but we're free falling from a higher perspective. So I know, and I totally agree with where you're coming from. But I just think they're a bit further down, and they're really in the doldrums potentially. So they need a manager boost to assure their Premier League survival. Where rather than ours, it would need a manager boost to basically put us back into Europe. Really, if we're looking at it subjectively, will any of the kids on loan get a chance next season? Freddie Potts, maybe. He's playing some. Well, to me, go back and Robert, we do the academy show every Monday where we talk about the players out on loan and stuff. The only one who's really getting a lot of game time is two, really. What is three? Tell us three. There's Christian Heggie at Den Bosch. He's been playing 90 minutes. He had 3 clean sheets in a row. Also, Freddie Potts, another 90 minutes on his belt for Wickham at the weekend. And Kean Forsum for Dagenham Redbridge. Now, out of those three, I think realistically, Freddie's probably the one who's probably more likely than Heggie. Heggie would come back and maybe be third choice goalkeeper over Joseph and Nang potentially. But the other, and Freddie would probably, he's having some rave reviews with there. So, even if it's worth for Freddie going out, staying back to Wickham for another season, just to keep that, because obviously by then you're thinking, I suppose whatever happens in terms of the dugout, really, to be fair. 4-game rule is nonsense. Draw 5 and win 1. Yeah, exactly. Afternoon Ruby, do you think that Patman is still injured or is he putting a fast one? I think he'd want to play if he can. So we'll wait and see. How many Tonkings we had this season? I know, mate. Loads, isn't it? Loads. About 3 or 4 in it. We had obviously Liverpool. That's obviously in the cup. We had Liverpool. We've had Fulham. We've had Arsenal, and we've had Villa in it. And Arsenal's the first one that's been at home, which I think maybe White hurts more because the others were away. I don't know. 11th, happy fan base sounds good. Let's make the change. Who do you consider as dead wood? Barman Johnson in talks for deals. Apparently, in your opinion, keep or sell. Some fans want them both gone, Potter or Xabi. Well, I think Xabi over Potter, but we're not getting Xabi. I don't want Potter. Dead wood. I think we're starting to clear it out. I was looking at the players that Moyes has brought in under his tenure, and obviously the most of the players we've sort of got rid of are the ones that are still the legacy ones. I know we've got rid of Vlasic and Skamaka and Tile Kira and Benny, but they think about Fornals, and I think Ogbonna's still hanging around. I think Cresswell, again, he's before his time. And I just think by keeping someone like Cresswell in the squad, you've got a situation where someone like Ollie Scars isn't getting as much game time potentially. It's not saying Ollie Scars will get a load of game time, but, that spot, he's sort of taken up by Cresswell at the moment, who's not going to get any game time. So what's the harm in putting Ollie in? And I know he's had a bit of sort of squad action, so to speak, on the last few sort of match day squads, but obviously nothing on the pitch. We'll see. Without Moyes, you'll get relegated, says probably a Man United fan. Only way we get him sacked, I think we have to lose more than 4 than say more than like. Yeah, you're probably right, mate. We concede a lot when Aguero plays. I think genuinely, I prefer the setup with Aguero playing. I just think we've got a bit more. For me, it's Aguero. It should be Aguero, not Aguero and Zuma. Don't work as a two. Aguero and Mavropanos. That's who I want. Kurt seems like he's going to fall over every time he's got the ball, bless him. We need a reaction tomorrow, some fight. Indeed, we certainly do. It's 2 games for us. We lost 3-0 to Man United before 9. Yeah, I suppose. What's your expression of a tonking? I'd say more than 4 goals. But anyway, get Moyes out. Swap you for Ten Hag. You're swap me for Ten Hag. Do we need okay, fair enough. Send Moyes to Palace, and I'm sure he'll keep them up. Any thoughts on Fonseca, and are you Moyes in or Moyes out? Fonseca, when we spoke about him for a lot, we did a whole show about him. There's some good points about Fonseca. For me, there's some things which could make a big difference, and there's some stuff which worries me. His lack of longevity worries me. But his experience is something which is impressive. Every club he's gone to, from a professional standpoint perspective, in terms of the likes of, Pascal de Ferreras, Braga, obviously Shakhtar, Roma, Lille. He's got European football. So, that's good. But again, he's got no Premier League experience. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. Pundits on TalkSport called West Ham Cup in Europe Tin Pot. Now it's a great triumph. Funny that. I think it's a great cup. I think, don't forget, the reason we won the cup was because of our league position. And because of our league position and because of winning the cup, we've gone back into Europe again. So I don't think it's that tin pot, because actually the amount of money we've generated from winning that cup and also going into Europa League this year is huge. Absolutely huge. Waiting for the conspiracy theories regarding Hodgson. Some will say he faked it. Yeah, probably. Rumor has it City will offer 70 for Pack. Well, it's 85 he's going to be it, so that's not going to happen. Chelsea want Kudus, 40 million. That's why they called the Grease. It's not going to happen. I don't know if people are talking nonsense about Moyes again. Any truth in that, Russ? Well, it's not truth. I think, it's a possibility, isn't it? It hasn't been ruled out. It was ruled out in October by the board, and then it got changed, and then it wasn't ruled out. So it is, in the same way when you go into a game, you can win, lose, or draw. It's one or the other, isn't it? Fearful for next season if Moyes gets a contract. Paqueta could do Bone. I don't think Bone will go, because I think whatever happens, I think it's been set up already. Because from Bone for not wanting to sign a contract to then signing a 7-year deal, to me shows that he knows what's going to happen. Because he wouldn't have signed such a long deal knowing that this person's not going to be in charge or this person is going to be in charge. So that, to me, Paqueta possibly. Kudus, I think Kudus has probably got another year, maybe. But, the likes, people are starting to circle around as they would do. He's a fantastic player. And that shouldn't be, and, that's not to, that means, Tim's bought the right type of players, in terms of Kudus. Obviously Bowen was under Moyes and Paqueta was under Moyes, but teams are interested in our players because they're good players, and we should be playing better with those players. Pots in the position we don't need yet. True. The key to the new coach coming in needs to be someone that excites the players in the squad and potential, especially if we're not in Europe next season. That's a good point, JB. In terms of the second point, if we're, regardless of who the manager is, to say we're in Europe is a big pull. Because also we get more money as well, so we can offer them better wages, and we're not as concerned about FFP, PSR, because our income will be up because there'll be more gate receipts because we're playing almost twice as many, not twice as many, but another 50% of games on top, and the broadcast and all the merchandise, and so that makes sense. But if we're not there, we need someone exciting enough that someone would want to play for him. Or someone would understand the project that's happening. Don't understand why people say they want Mourinho. Oh, no, not at all. Some fans turned down Tuchel. Well, he looked like he could be going from Bayern soon. Not being in the squad, is it? I don't know, actually, but he hasn't been. You're right. Russ, is that the extent of Russ? Then he should sell. I think that's what business people don't make crazy business crazy. The reason why they're rich is not because they're flamboyant with their money. It's because they look for a reasonable return on investment, and it might be small increments rather than a big way. Let's fucking put it. We'll be different. If we were West Ham fans, we're multi-billionaires, we'd probably go, yeah, I can put all this away, bosh, but they don't. Anton Baker, a new member. Toby, very kindly, has gifted 5 memberships. Well done, Toby. Thank you so much. And Anton's gifted 10, 15 memberships. Would you Adam and Eve it? Would you Adam and Eve it? And, you know, just so you guys know, the membership program is fantastic. You get automatically entered into our draws every month for winning West Ham merch, West Ham signed stuff. Actually, we did a draw last couple of weeks ago. These haven't been claimed yet. I'm going to put it up on the community chat. We had a sign West Ham football. We had a sign West Ham current squad as it currently stands with people like Caduce, JWP, Mavropanos. They've all signed that thanks to our lovely channel partners at Umbro. I'll put that out. And if that's not claimed by the end of the month, then that will be going into Marches. That's only fair enough, isn't it? So someone can have it. It's not a competition. I did 10. Bring in caller. And we just quickly hello, caller. Who we got on the line?
Hello, Russ. It's Damien D'Amico.
Damien D'Amico. How you doing, bud? You all right, man?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Nice to hear your voice.
Yeah. You see me in the comments a lot, right?
Always, man. I appreciate every comment we get from you guys and everyone else, man. What do you want to talk about, bud?
Yeah. I left the it's David Moyes. I think the time's come, Russ.
Yeah.
I think it's time we. As long as Steiden stays, I'm 100% Moyes out. I know that sounds silly, but under Steiden, I want to progress. If it's the case that Steiden's going to Liverpool, then the consistency that Moyes may be able to offer might be best. But if we're getting assurances from Steiden, I think it's time to change it up, to be honest. I think the likes of Carrick or the lad from Ipswich could be kind of left with the team for a year, let Steiden deal with recruitment for the first year, and then kind of merge it together. That would be my
love it. That sounds
ideal look.
That sounds like an idea, mate. It sounds like a plan. That's unusual, isn't it?
Yeah. That's how I'd work it. I'd bring in the likes of Carrick for a year.
Yeah.
Have him work with the group solely. Have Steiden and Noble just basically working on recruitment through the summer, dropping in gems that are in needed areas. Once the coach has had a whole year to work with the team, then reassess, basically. I think Moyes' footballing ideologies are flawed sometimes. I think he managed to rejig us at the beginning really well, but throughout the course of the seasons, I've seen too many little tactical errors that I'm just not happy with. So, and I think after some of these spankings, I think the group are going to find it hard to respond to him. And I think the players could do with a fresh face and a fresh set of ideas. I'm not sure if I got spanked 6-0 on the weekend and turn up on the Monday looking at Moyes, I'd be inspired to turn it around.
You know what?
So,
it's funny.
Yeah,
I was taught this goes back to the summer. So the summer, again, this is nothing to do. It's sort of to do with West Ham, but it's back in terms of the mentality of a manager. So obviously, Sheffield Wednesday, it was the playoff semi-final, and I think they lost 6-0 to Peterborough or something in the first leg, and obviously they had to play the second leg. And I was talking to. I didn't realise I was talking to him at the time, but I was talking to one of the Sheffield Wednesday players when I was on holiday, and he was talking about Darren Moore, because obviously then they turned it around and ended up winning and beating the goal difference. It might have been 6-1 or something, and they turned it over. And they said the reason being was purely on the manager. They came in, as you said, with their heads down. Fuck it, what's the point? It's a 2-leg, but we're already 6-0 down, or 6-1, whatever it was. And he drilled into them from the first. He made them watch that game every day in training. Every day for that week and a half, or whatever it was, until the return leg, and was just right. But it starts again. This was shit. It starts again. And they thought they were 10 feet tall by the time they played them for the return leg, and that's what I don't see that with Moyes.
I don't see the reaction.
No,
I don't see that. That's my concern. You hear stories about that, like Anton Ferdinand mentions the time when it started pandering out.
With curbs.
The season it started, and there was like a group meeting, and everyone kind of come together, and there was like a a bounce back, I just don't see it this time, Russ. I just do not see it. I could not imagine what took place on the week following. Everyone getting rolled up and thinking, right, we're going to go again. I just don't. I felt over the last 18 months, especially, there's been times where Moyes would have had to just reinvent himself. So take the time, right, go again. Take the time, go again. And I just think this time it might be a push. It might be an ask too much, you know. It's the interviews he was giving off as well, Russ. It's constantly going backwards. It's well, this time 2 years ago, I saved them from relegation. This, that. Well, we're not thinking about that anymore. We're trying to think forward. So much so, I found my mind slipping because of the poor January transfer window.
Yeah,
I found my mind going directly to the summer. That's how bad it is. I know Nick mentions it on Claret and Booze that it might even be a bit of a write-off this season, but I found my mind going there because the squad's limited. And I said this on one of your video, in one of the comments. I think this. Bearing in mind, we're only 2 players away from a full squad at the moment, and it feels like we're down to our bare bones. I think it's the repercussions of poor recruitment. I think obviously we kept up the summer we spent £200 million. We kept all our best players, so that's a team that are finishing 6th, 7th, plus 200 million pounds worth of assets, and he managed to get it wrong, Russ. And the thing is, it's been a slow, progressive burn because the players are there, but he's just not finding the answers, and it's just progressively got more stale. I will try and back. I've tried to back Moyes at certain points this season, but not anymore. I think it's time for change. I can't see him coming back from that 6-0 loss. To be honest.
I mean, we've
9
always
goals in 2 games.
You're right, man.
Players don't like feeling that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we always get spanked, don't we? Every at least once this year, but we've had 3 or 4 spankings this year, and I think that takes a toll on the players, surely more than anything as well. You know, I mean, we haven't won this year. Or and considering where we were at the beginning of the end of the year, we'd beaten United and Arsenal back to back, and then within the space of 6 weeks, we seem to be back to square one again, don't we?
Yeah, the thing is, even in the interview after the Arsenal game, that's not like my teams. He was saying that's not like my teams. Well, it was against Fulham, it was against Liverpool. It has been your teams, you know what I mean? This isn't a figment of our imagination. I'm afraid we've been holding else, like he's supposed to be a defensively resilient manager. We've conceded 9 in the last 2 games. I think you can accept a bit of a lack of creativity if you are grinding out 1-0s, but we're losing 6-0, we're losing 3-0. I know they're good sides in Man United and Arsenal, but is it acceptable? Really? Like, I've had enough of him. I'll be honest. David Moyes, I know I'm live with a big audience, and this will probably go out to the world to see. David Moyes, I appreciate what you've done at the club. You brought us a fantastic moment, but I think everything has its time. And the
thing is, it'll always be,
go our own ways.
Yeah, and regardless of where we are, regardless of what happens in the summer, as you said, they'll always have those that night in Prague, and it'll always be remember. It's the same as doesn't matter whoever Declan Rice, whatever jersey he pulls on, he'll still be the last one of 3 West Ham captains to have lifted trophies, at West Ham. So there's always going to be that side. But I think you're right. I think the worst thing we can do is sit still. Other clubs around us are the likes of Brighton. Brighton flipped, their manager. People were like a lot of the fan base really like dismayed the fact that Gary O'Neill went and was replaced by a relatively unknown La Liga manager from their perspective. But that seems to be starting to pay off now. It didn't start off with, but it's starting to pay off now. Villa,
and they've both gone their own. They've both gone in
done
positive
it,
directions. O'Neill's gone in a positive direction. Bournemouth have gone in a positive direction. My biggest thing, and I've said this, and I don't like to go into too much football-y detail stuff, but my biggest, my theory, I think when Moyes initially inherited that team, he rejigged things and he made us a really, really exciting counter-attacking team. When he was given the 200 million to spend, he kind of changed it around. Like he almost wanted to. He wanted to try and move into some kind of possession-based side, but you can't have a possession-based side with Thomas Souček in the heart of your centre midfield. It just doesn't work, and I just think we totally lost our identity from there. And I think he's found it really difficult to find it again. And I'd like a fresh set of ideas. I'd like a positive, fresh-faced coach to come in, work entirely with the group. Steiden, Noble, go into the boardroom, make phone calls, find me a left winger, find me a centre forward, find me this, find me that, drop them into training. Once a season passes and the new coach has the opportunity to work with the new group, then we'll assess and talk about what we need after that year to move forward again. But I just feel like it's gone stale. I was saying to Happy Hammerette, if she's in the chat or watching later, hello.
She just turned up.
That a left winger would have kept us ticking over.
Yep,
a left winger would have just kept us ticking over until the summer. But if I'm manager of that team, we're getting a left winger. I don't care if we're dragging some kid out of League One. We're getting a left winger. But I don't know. It's just the dynamics of whatever it is at the moment don't seem to be working. If I'm Moyes, I'm not accepting that January transfer window closing without a left winger. But he did. And whose fault that is, I don't know. But it's resulted in us looking very stretched at the moment. So he might be the one who has to pay for it, it looks like. Maybe. I'm not sure. But then again, there is an argument that if Steiden wants to go elsewhere, then Moyes is the kind of stable figurehead. So
that's what
I'm not sure. Yeah. But yeah, my ideal situation would be just give Steiden control of recruitment.
Yeah.
Have a trustworthy young fresh coach and leave him with the team for a year. Let Steiden improve the group, and then they come together after a year and look to move forward again. It's been said next year might be a difficult year, whoever it's under, but I'd like it to be a difficult year in where we're trying to shift direction rather than just kind of plateauing.
You're right. I think the fan base would be, obviously they need results because you do, because it doesn't matter what people say, it is a results-based business. We've said that quite a bit, but you're right. I think if you can see the green shoots of something, then the fan base have got something to hold on. And same as, there was a point where Bournemouth weren't getting nothing for the first 2 months, really, and there was talk of him being the first manager to be sacked. Now they've kept their nerve, didn't pull the trigger, and they're seeing the benefits of it now in terms of the style he's playing. But they're brilliant. Damien, man, absolute legend. There's been lots of love for you in the chat, man. You'll go back and rewatch it and see everyone that loves. Lots of really good comments, man. I really appreciate you joining, mate.
Cheers, Russ.
Don't be a stranger. Take care, man.
No, I won't be. Thank you, mate.
Well done, boss.
Cheers.
Lovely. That was Damien. God, Damien's a regular. That's why I love the fact that we can do this, because Damien's a regular person who comments literally every video. He's brilliant and comes across really well. Great. What we got here? More chance to get over. Talking about Zaha at the moment. If only 70% of income, what advantage was there for leaving Upton Park? Yeah, it's a good point. David, and well referenced to my thing. We'll make more money when we're up Upton Park in terms of overall, because it's not just the match day is only for the ticket and the what's it called, ticket and the catering, commercial, retail. That's where they make the money. And as you said, that's a lot more than the match day. You could probably put them together, to be honest, but retail also, commercial also in terms of shirt sponsorships and stuff like that as well. So it gets that bundles together. But great shout. Styler wants to go down to Moyes, bringing a strong manager and not as I said, I think whoever happens next in terms of the management is as a coach rather than. To press the button. Sorry. Who have we got? Hello, call.
Hello, mate. Yeah, I'm just calling up for. I haven't spoken to you before, mate. I'm not live, am I?
Yeah, of course you are.
I'm watching your show. I'm delayed then, aren't I? Hello, my name's John.
Hello, John. How can I help? What do you want to get off your chest?
I'm not going to be very popular, me. I don't think, but I don't know. I'm looking at. I just want a random. I literally just saw one, so I haven't really thought this through properly.
Good. No, it's all right. We can work for each other.
I'm calling in. Lovely. Right. This me is I've been supporting West Ham a long time, as I'm sure many other people have. So I've been supporting the club for about 30 years, right? And I'm looking at the way things are right now, right at this moment in time, and I feel like things could be better, but I don't think they're as bad as it seems. And I honestly think that there's a kind of culture in social media where there's a hunger for like negativity and bad news. My personal position regarding David Moyes and all the rest of it is I think he's probably come to the end of his cycle. Right, I do. There is concerns about Tim Steindl as well, but on those two things, Moyes' contract is over at the end of the year. So until there's a decision made on that, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like there's not going to be any real news on managers. There might be rumours and stuff. They're not going to approach anybody officially until this is dealt with. And with Tim Steindl as well, even though I know a lot of people are saying, like, you know, the reason that if he wants to leave, it'll be because of David Sullivan or it'll be because of David Moyes. And there may be some factors on that. But at the end of the day, if he leaves, for me, it'll be because Liverpool come in for him, just as Paqueta will leave.
Yeah.
As if we're in the Champions League, Europe, or anything. I just think there's a lot of, just back to my original point, I just feel like there's a massive hunger for bad news and negativity. Now, at the end of the day, we're in the top 10. I do think the debacle, which was the January window.
Oh, he's gone. John, you've gone. I was enjoying that. It was an interesting. John, if you can come back. He's just dropped out. Anyway, that's a shame. I was enjoying that. I would offload Moyes now and give Heitinga the caretaker role. Let's bring John back in. Hello, John.
Hello, mate. Sorry, cut off there.
I was using mid-flow as well.
I was. No, I do think the debacle, which was the January, in terms of getting the extra attacker in, but also selling our sort of squad depth in terms of those areas. I do think those were excellent bits of business to get rid of Fornals and Benrahma and Kira as well. I know he's not an attacker, but to get rid of those three that weren't being used is excellent bits of business, isolated. But then to not replace the attackers wasn't good. And I think because of that, and looking at the fact, the age of the squad and the depth of the squad, the league, getting into Europe through the league is probably going to be too much now. So I think that the best bit of the rest of the season will hopefully be a Europa League run, depending on what the draw is. But at the end of the day, so that is a negative. But there is stuff to look forward to. We've already got a lot of money in the bank, more than we usually have. So we've got money in the bank. We've got players that may be sold, and there may be change. Like we could be sitting in August. We might not be. But we could be sitting in August, September with a new manager, with 7 new players. And with Tim Steindl still. What I'm saying is we might not, but a lot of it is as if stuff's come to pass that hasn't actually come to pass.
Yeah, hasn't happened yet.
I just think it's just more fashionable to moan about stuff. It's not that bad. This time last year, we were in a dogfight for relegation, pretty much. I don't know. This year, it's okay. We might not be in the top 8. They've screwed up in January. We've got no chance of being relegated. We're still a very attractive club for players and for managers. I don't think being in Europe determines the players you sign necessarily, especially the second tier competitions. It's the amount of money you can offer them and the lifestyle and playing in the Premier League. So that's it. I don't know. This is again a really random call.
No,
I'm just saying,
it's good, man.
I'm just quite relaxed about everything. It's like, come on, it's not that bad. We're cash rich. We've got a decent squad. It's not big enough, but people seem to want it both ways. In the one hand, it's like the squad's old, and they're tired and they're shit. And on the other hand, they're saying, oh, we should be playing much, much better. We should be in the top 6. We should be playing. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like they want everything. I think we're a work in progress. Anyway, I think that's it because I've just waffled on now. But I just think we're a work in progress, and just people need to relax a little bit.
I get what you mean, John. Totally. I understand. I mean, that's what I was trying to say. Yes, from a business perspective, we're all right. But I know what you mean. I totally get that. I think it is a bit. I mean, it's the same. I mean, in all honesty, when we lose, more people watch us. For some reason, they do, and so it is. People like bad news stories, and it's the same with every other like social media or newspaper or whatever. If you had a front page and it was like everything's fine, no one's going to buy the paper, are they? And read the story. So
it's just reflective on the fan base. If you look at the YouTube comments again, I might get caned for this. I don't care. Yeah. If I sat there right on YouTube and wrote a comment which was well thought out, maybe a couple of paragraphs, explaining why I would like a change. Yeah. Where I say I'd like Moyes to not be signed up at the end of the year because I want a better brand of football. But also saying that I am grateful for some of the work that he has done, and that we're in a better position than we were when he came in, and that people should relax a bit. And if Tim is going to leave, it's based mainly on Liverpool than it is on us, and not to worry about it. Yeah. And also there's other directors of football out there that we will be able to attract. We never heard of Tim before he come, and we haven't heard of the new guy before he comes. But I would get more hate and negative comments on that than if I just put in capitals and exclamation marks, Moyes out. If I put Moyes out, I'll get like 147 likes and comments going, yeah, this guy knows how to articulate his thoughts. Like, come on, guys. Honestly.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean, John. Actually, in that being said, there's a great article that Nigel Khan's just written for 6'2", which is about the divide being basically a construct of social media, and I totally agree.
It is.
I totally agree.
It is.
I totally agree. But it
anyway,
has
listen,
been.
Thank you for your time, mate.
Cheers, John.
That. Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
Anytime, man. Lovely, John. That was John. He was a nice caller. What a lovely young man. I'm just going to quickly let me just put his. So if he calls again, I'd have to say, who is it? It's John. There we go. Right. Let's have a look. Well, we got some more. Let me mute that in case someone calls. Let's see what we got. Age and number. You can do the job. Indeed. Age is just at your age, not your shoe size. And the squad is great. You need a forward-thinking coach to bring the best out of them. That's what I mean. I mean, I was looking at the squad, and I was looking at and I was putting something together, and I might finish it. It was half an idea, looking at how he spent the money under Moyes. And some of them you look at them and go, that was Danny Ings, that was a Sullivan deal, but Moyes, and actually, when you sort of, the side that proper job. Oh, John, back. You John? No, you back, John? No, John's gone. John's gone. John just want another go now. He's had enough of it now. But in terms of the side he plays now. As I said, I think there's the Arsenal game, for example, it was only Ben Johnson who was not brought in by Moyes. So, and again, I'm sure if you look to the squad which he inherited and the squad he's got now, probably looks better on paper. It's probably smaller, but maybe looks better on paper. And as you said, unfortunately, football is not one on paper. Now, the key for everybody. Now, I'll be honest. I don't think we've got a fucking clue in Europe. I don't think we've got a fucking chance in Europe. Have you seen some of the sides who are in Europe? This is the current. What we got. This is after the first round. So we'll be drawn against one of these 16 sides, and there are some fucking good sides. That's not including the sides who won the groups, like Leverkusen, like Liverpool. You've got Arne Slot's Feyenoord, who's a side we were looking at. You've got Roma, Galatasaray, Sparta Prague. Be interesting what happens with that, and Krasinski. Marseille, a good side. Sporting Lisbon, Ruben Amorim. Basically, it's pretty much like most of the managers really linked with. Benfica, you got Roger Schmidt there. You got Freiburg, AC Milan, Braga, a good side. So, I think it's going to be a really tough task. Not saying we can't do it, but it's a really tough task. I still think Europe in the league is doable. I really do. If we get a couple of wins on the bounce, we're back up there. I think 8th. If Liverpool win the Carabao Cup, 8th should be good enough for Europe. It might be the conference, but we won that one. So, yeah, we'll see. But I think whatever happens, we need a massive. Obviously, it's going to be a massive rebuild. And I want someone in place who's going to be able to cope with that as well. The Pulse is 8-6. Is the right manager actually said that's from... Wow, massive. Wow, that's interesting, Jack. Thank you. Russ, I asked the chat if they would choose between the results 56% Sullivan. There we go. What we got here? Never wanted Moyes back, but got results in the cup grass indeed. Oh, you have a little. I always do. Any of them will knock us out. Yeah, totally agree. Don't believe if we go down, we'll be empty. If you're West Ham, you'll be there. Rob, and I think that's what the club know. They'll make the tickets cheaper. There'll be, there'll be a percentage of people who will not go back to West Ham, who will not renew their season ticket. There's someone behind them, mate. And actually, from a cost per ticket, they promote more money by selling that to football tourists and stuff like that, because they'll buy extra shirts and we'll probably will buy someone from the J League or someone like that, just to, or from someone from South Korea, in order to just keep that ticking over. That will happen. Right from Benfica or Sporting as a Portugal, we'd love to see us play one of them. Yep. You don't have to be a good footballing brain to see a minuscule 21 is being aged indeed. Out of them, who would you like in Europe? I mean, Anton will be the bigger, harder. Anton would want the biggest one we can get. For me, I think we're nowhere near. I don't think we're in a right place to go and turn over a Sevilla like we team like we did last time. I think you've got some really good side. Take Freiburg again. We could probably do them in 2 legs. Rennes, we could probably do them in 2 legs. Toulouse, maybe. But I think you're looking around them, and they're all very good sides. I wouldn't want to face Feyenoord, because they're a good side. They'll Santiago Giménez up front as well. Galatasaray, they're always a good side, and they'll be an awful place to go to in terms of atmosphere. Obviously, really intimidating home atmosphere. Roma, there's even Marseille. It's not a great place to go to for fans. And Benfica, there's some massive sides there, massive. But then again, don't forget, under the current manager, we beat Sevilla, who had won it back-to-back 3 years on or something like that. We'd beaten, Leon. I forgot the name. Leon. Yeah. We should have beaten Frankfurt, to be honest. It's not drawn yet, so it'll be next week, I believe. Players will focus on European games. That's why I think we look better than in the Prem. Unfortunately, our game plays better in a European environment. It does, and that's not great, and that's not great considering you've got 38 games in the Premier League. Moyes to stabilise the club, but he's taken us as far as he can go, unless he listens to theirs and changes. I can't see him changing his ways, Michael. I think that's sort of I'm inclined to agree with that statement. He's done the same thing for 1,000 games he's managed. He's made 650 Premier League games or something like that as well. So he ain't going to change. How many non-subscribed to channels and forums? Also, how many subscribers duplicate their votes on other? I totally agree. That was from a market researcher. That's my job. When I'm not talking to you about West Ham, that was my points I was making. People need to stop waffling about the Conference League. We played out mid-table. We were favourites. Would have pissed it. I beg to differ, Paul McCarthy. Man City have been trying to buy the Champions League for how many years? And are usually favourites. They've only won it once. So, being a favourite doesn't mean you're going to walk into it. We'll see how well Villa. Spurs are one of the favourites for the Conference League. They got knocked out of the group stages, didn't they? We'll see how well Villa do. in it. If Villa win, fair play to them, but we'll see. There's more dropping down now to the conference. So once we are out, we're out. Yeah, you're totally right. We're out. We need to bring some youth into the squad. They're hungry and willing to do. We can't just say they aren't good enough. They need time and to drip feed the team over the top. I think I agree with the sentiment. Definitely agree with the sentiment. I mean, the fact that a lot of these players have gone out on loan and are not getting game time at Wickham, at West Brom, I mean, Callum Marshall at West Brom, he got on 30 minutes, didn't get on at all the last game. You've got people like Gideon, who's not getting time at Wickham. Dan Chester's got some time, got 10 minutes for Salford, so you might see him. Are they good enough? And I see them all the time, and they are some fantastically skillful players. But I would not put Patrick Kelly in our starting lineup at West Ham. He's not physically strong enough. You saw Devine on Friday when we played the Chelsea under 21s. He was appalling. He's the worst game I've seen him play. Getting pushed off the ball, everything bouncing off him. Just head wasn't in the right spot. We've got some good players. I think Ollie Scholes, his delivery is fantastic. I think if there was an issue at left back and he came in, you've got justification to maybe drop JWP, because I think Ollie Scholes' delivery is just as good potentially as JWP's. He's got a fantastic whip on him in terms of, not a whip. Yeah, the foot is a whip, not a, that's enough about the spankings. But great player. Great player. George Earthy, skillful. Don't know how he'd fit in the current system. And the issue is the under 21s, the under 18s play a different system to the first team. So for someone like Mbama, someone like Callum Marshall, someone like George Earthy, someone like Lewis Orford, Ollie Scholes, it's difficult for them to transcend into the first team when they don't know the system. But they've been playing it for years or for a prolonged period of time in the academy. That to me makes no sense whatsoever. You do one or the other and you keep it all the way through, even if it is the 4-2-3, even if it's that Moyes ball, throughout the whole system. And then at least when someone graduates and goes up the league, so in terms of the 18s to 21s or the 16s to the 18s to the 21s, and then get into the first team, they know the style of play. It seems like 101 in for my opinion. We are not massive. Moyes isn't happy playing in a youth team. I think he's as I said, I think he's happy to involve them, but it's when they move into the league. The cups is different. As I said, statistically, he's given more first team academy debuts than any other West Ham manager in Premier League history. But only one of them was in the Premier League, which was in terms of debut, which was Ngakia, where he threw him in against Liverpool. Do you remember? So he has. But I know what you mean. But the fact then people say, "Oh, it's just in meaningless games," but they're meaningless games in Europe. And the reason we're in Europe is because you've had so it's a cyclical thing. It's like. It's just you go back to square one and repeat the argument again. With the new format coming in soon, clubs still get rewarded for being losers and going into another cup. I don't know how it works from the last 16 onwards. I believe that if most all diehards and Moyes out, the newer fans will be Moyes in. Probably look at the league position. Yes, you won a cup, but last season, but it's time to go. West Ham are massive everywhere they go. I just sold my car. At least Astra Fireworks aren't still around. Indeed, haven't they just reformed a new side though, and like an amateur side now? I think we spent 400 million plus during his time. We should be favourites against the. We have, but why have we spent 400 million, Paul, and not been in any issues with FFP or PSR? Because we've been successful. If we weren't successful, we wouldn't spend 400 million. We wouldn't be in Europe. And so and to be honest, I don't think a lot of that was spent wisely. As was it Damien or John? I think it was Damien said it. I don't think a lot of it was spent particularly wisely. Last year was different. And we actually, I think although we've spent 500 million, I think in terms of player sales, we're quite well. I think we're about 6th or 7th in terms of player sales, in terms of money for player sales as well. So it's not as 500 million on the nose. It's not 500 million in a vacuous pit. It's actually in terms of it's not nets. That's not nets. So we have sold players as well, and a lot of that has funded it. So like Declan, obviously, that funded the pretty much there or thereabouts. Kudus, JWP, just adding it up in my mind, and Alvarez. Is that right? Something like that. So I know what you mean. But don't forget, we're the richest league in the world as well. So naturally, we would have spent more than, say, Galaback, for example. I take under the lights, indeed. Should we get through the next fixture? We'll drop the bin dippers. You get the bin dippers. Yeah, obviously, by then everyone's in it. Everyone is in the draw. How many times have PSG won that? And exactly, are better than us last season. They are better than us. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see if they win it, and fair enough, mate. Winning the conference, we were favourites before a ball was kicked. Not winning it would have been a disaster. But favourites don't always win. Russ, mate, a lot of that is confidence. They have been drained by the regime. Hasn't any game time. He has, but not in the first team. Didn't look interesting. Should have gone to leave it. Totally agree, Mike. I think that was a vanity project in my eyes to West Brom. I've said it several times. Looks like the dog's bollocks. Yeah, good player, Lewis. Still relatively young. That's what I mean. And for a midfielder position, I think you have to. And that's where I sort of agree with Moyes sometimes, where he says, players physically have developed at a slower rate than they did pre-Premier League 2. That's a fact. That would be a fact, in my opinion, in terms of the gut, because they just are playing against the same age group all the way until they graduate into the first team. Whereas at least if they had the old reserve leagues or whatever, they were playing against seasoned professionals. And then that sort of comes up. With Moves not saying a new deal, is that why we aren't giving him minutes? Possibly. Don't know. What did that tell you about Obama was ripping up last season and pre-season? He wasn't. Yeah, pre-season he played well. Ripping it up last season, he wasn't the under-21s, that's for sure. But did look interesting. Won't make it West Ham, but Marshall will when Moyes leaves. I think Marshall's a good player. I think Marshall's going to score goals wherever he goes. Reminds me of Craig Bellamy. I think he's great. 3-0 to Manx and 4-0 to Arsenal. Give them time. Is the fact that we have money in the bank such a great thing? We just went through a disastrous transfer window. We don't know. I think, we never will know, Rich. That's the trouble in terms of whether people are, what's the word? Who's to blame for that transfer window? We've had 3 or 4 different accounts. So, yeah, we don't know. West Ham is a bit yin-yang indeed. West Ham should have signed Alejandro Baldi or Lamente Yamala from Barcelona. Well, they'll need to sell to even their book, so I don't think that would be an issue for Moyes if he played a more aggressive style and put players in the rightful position. I agree. Under the new European rules, how many of the youth qualified to play in Europe? As long as they've been here for at least 2 years in the academy squad, they'll be put into the B squad. So you can put as many as you want in there. 400 million, 2 years, Man City wage indeed. Russ, have you ever seen Moyesy watch? Did you see? Have you ever seen Moyesy watch? Did you previously at West Ham? So yes, so Moyes. So there is always every game I've been to this season and previous seasons as well, particularly when we had him at London Stadium and stuff. There was always first team coaching attendance. I've seen Moyes at Rush Green quite a few times actually. I've seen Billy McKinley, Mark Robson. I've seen Nolan. I've seen Nobes. I've seen lots of people, and I never saw that for any other manager. Although I didn't see it under Redknapp and Lampard, they would go to all the games apparently, but I wasn't involved in the side then. But apparently Pellegrini didn't, and stuff like that. So they know all about them. And in fact, I said I was sat. Billy McKinley was in front of me for the last game, and literally every time Barmer fucked that, he was like, "Oh, fuck." Literally, he was. They were willing him to play better, but he just wasn't. And they really and you can tell who they really like. They really like Ollie Scholes. They really like Lewis Orford. And there's I mean, we've got some good players. We have some very good players. Junior Robinson's very good. The goalkeeper, they like the goalkeeper, Jacob Knightbridge, really good with his feet, fantastic passer. He's there quite often, mate. Sat Moyes now, don't wait till the summer. It's not gonna happen, George. We're gonna have to go in a tick. Going through here. Stato and Luke, that's who the people want. Jesus Christ, not that bad, are we? Anton, we just need to have subtitles on the bottom of the screen when you are on. They're all great as hosts of this show. I can't answer that. You guys have the best perspectives. Wow, screenshot that bad boy. The best perspectives. I didn't even know what you're talking about, but there we go. You think they should? Super League will happen, and yeah, it will happen eventually. DM needs help from specialised attacking assistant coaches. Hi, Rush. Do you think Sullivan would sell to any buyers? If they met evaluation, I think he would. I think they would. You know, if he can get his money out and make a wicked profit, I think he would. Same as anyone. Someone turns up with a suitcase full of cash. But yeah, I mean, you know, they've technically got, when Danny Krajinski came in, they basically gave it was Gold and Sullivan and Krajinski. They had a set price to sell to each other, or to sell the shares. So yeah, possibly the money we spent is just for you. You catch up. Yeah, good point. Irish Tommy is going to be here tonight doing a show, so make sure you check that out. Are there any changes being made at the ground? I think they were bringing it closer. They were looking to bring in, I think it's probably for next year, maybe. The plans were to bring the Bobby Moore, or the Billy Bonds, and the indescript name of the stands, that like straighten them up as well, like the other two. Any word on Antonio? We'll find out. We've got Moyes his press conference in about 10 minutes, so we'll bring that to you. Do you think Sullivan would hand over to Jack or David, the older brother, possibly? Hope you're well. Early doors. This is a big time for the club. We need 7 players at the end of the season. Totally agree. As our team are getting older, players are leaving as well. Our contracts worry the players wanting to go. I don't think so. I mean, again, I think for me, it's like for a lot of these players, I'm not on the assumption that Kudus is going to stay for us forever. A lot of players want to get into the league and then develop up, and I think that's same Paqueta. I wouldn't expect Paqueta to stay with us for 10 years. You know, I think if you get 3 years out of him, you've done very well, and you'll make a profit on him. And that's the same as Kudus, and it's the same as I thought with Bowen and people, and that's how it seems that people are, you know, we work towards. And it's the fact that they're being linked to other clubs is testimony that they are good players. So they would be good players. You know, Kudus is it. If I was Chelsea managing director, if I was Man United, I'd say, well, we want this Kudus guy. He's fucking good. And he's cut his teeth. He's not going to be a risk of bringing him over from the Eredivisie. We can bring him in straight away, and we know he's going to hit the ground running. So, if anything, it's put him in the shop window, and it always will do. And that's the issue, because we play well. We get teams wanting our players, and so we think, you know, they want to leave and stuff. And it's their job. It's their job. They have no emotional connection to West Ham. It's their job. Same as Tim Steidten. He wants to go. If he goes to Liverpool, he wants to work for a club who are a bigger club. So it's like me, for a company. I'll maybe want to work for a bigger company and more money. There's no disrespect to One-Pole, you know, or the company I work for now. That's just the nature of football and the nature of business and nature of having a job. Damien, absolute pleasure, my friend. You're fantastic. Thanks for coming on. Made some really good points and loads of love. Right, I'm going to have to go, peeps. I'm really, really sorry. But make sure you keep an eye on the channel. We'll have the Dave Moyes press conference a little bit later. We'll also have Irish Tommy doing a late show as well. And then don't forget, tomorrow, it's a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday. What the F? So we're having all the stuff, all the fun of the fair. And, you know, half times, we'll do a draw at half time, and the review shows, and we have the predicted 11 shows and all that type of stuff. If you like what we do and you're new, it seems a lot of new names in the chat, please consider subscribing. It helps us out. We're on the road to 25,000 subscribers, and give it a like as well, because again, it helps with the algorithm. And give it a little comment if you're watching this on catch up. let us know your thoughts, and particularly some of them have had some really good callers coming in today. So thank you very much. And we try and do this at least once a week, just to give you the opportunity to have your say. But until then, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, my friends. Keep the faith. Come on, you bloody Irons. Irons! Irons!